Hey folks, Red Labor here, hoping you're having a great afternoon. Well, we had a convention. We had two conventions. We had two center-right parties deciding which one is more center-right than the other. I'm talking about the obvious center-right party, the Republican National Convention, and I'm talking about the other center-right party, the Democratic National Convention. It was a convention of rhinos and dinos. Now, we all know what rhinos are, Republican in name only. And that's a code word by the right wing to talk to actual moderates and even some conservatives who decide not to have a bad attitude against the liberals or anybody that's to the left of Rush Limbaugh. And rhino basically means, to the eyes of the Tea Party and that type within the right-wing movement is, you must be a liberal, a member of the GOP, part of that Nelson Rockefeller liberalism. You rhinos, you're just not asshole enough. That kind of mentality. And so, of course, what are Dinos or Dinos? Democrats in name only. And these are wishy-washy people that don't stand for anything, who like to call themselves centrists, you know, as a bulk against the right wing, and on that other side, the left, the people we don't dare mention, that type. Um, this is what's wrong with the country. This is what's wrong with the country. And perhaps some of those ultra-conservatives who are not an asshole to people and actual moderate to liberal Republicans in the Republican Party might find a decent home with the Democrats, because the Democratic Party is not left-wing enough. I mean, it's an agrarian populist party as it was started out that ended up being a fake center-left entity. But really, they're about as conservative as the European center-right, in my view. I know some people will be like, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, actually, I do know what I'm talking about. So, I saw the conventions, and Republicans, non-starter for me. It's just a hootenanny of corporatists, neoconservative chicken hawks that want to invade other countries, and of course, religious nuts. And then we got the Democrats. What are they? Well, they might not have the nutty religious folks, but they've done a pretty damn good job of continuing the failed Bush foreign policy with drone missile attacks and and staying in Afghanistan when we need to get the hell out of there, that sort of thing. So I'm just so equally unimpressed with both parties these days. It's a non-starter. And I know of course I have liberals that love to get on my case. They are already doing this. Some of them are already doing this to me. And the Democratic Party, this is tough love to all you folks with the Democrats, but the Democratic Party has spent the last few days positioning itself as a defender of the rights of the working class in this country, the defender of Social Security and Medicare, the defender of the ecology, the people who are going to really teach Wall Street not to impose its greed on us to the point where we're affected in a negative way. That the Democratic leadership, pretty much their message is, we're not as bad as the GOP. But would that make the Democrats the opposite of the GOP because they are not quite as bad? And folks on the left, why do you people who are so committed to the Democratic Party not necessarily not necessarily those who fight the good fight in the Democratic Party to keep it on the left or shift it to the left, but some that thinks that you can't shift it further left, so you just must settle for the breadcrumbs that the blue dogs give to you. You know, why do you do this? And then fuss people out that supports Ralph Nader or the Green Party or what have you. I mean, I was talking to somebody who went to the Democratic National Convention the other day. Somebody who lives here in town. Took a 3-hour trip to Charlotte, and we were talking and talked about Ralph Nader, and he was like looking at me and said, "Ralph Nader's a traitor. He's the one that got Bush in." No, folks, Ralph Nader did not get George W. Bush in the White House. What got George W. Bush in the White House was Al Gore choosing Joe Lieberman. Again, again, again. Here it is, Democrats lecturing those on the left for voting for what they want and not getting it, and then they settle for voting for what they don't want and getting it, or getting it worse from the GOP. So, this is all a big joke, folks. And I'm going to lay it out even to folks on the right who feel like Republicans are a sellout. You guys, why don't you guys jump to the Libertarian Party? And all you folks on the left in the Democratic Party, why don't you give the Green Party a try? Or better yet, look at the Working Families Party in some of these states, and if you insist on supporting individual Democrats' Working Families Party, go ahead and do it. But make sure they're progressive. If they're not, then support a Green Party candidate. But let's stop, people on the left. Let's stop rewarding the Democrats when they shit on us. Honestly.